you.
Right, okay, so I'm Jill and that's Sue. As it says, we're just going to talk about the day in the life of a telephone researcher.
Okay,
So this is our team.
I'm going to introduce you to the team. So first of all, there's Sarah, then there's Jill, there's Vicky, who should have been here, and me, Zara, and the only male in the team is Tom.
Who's here today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very resilient.
Yeah. So in the beginning then, the team was established in May 2013. Initially it was just 2 members of staff, that was myself and Sue. First off, we were manually dialing the telephone numbers. So obviously, as you can imagine, it was really time consuming. But by July 2013, we'd expanded the team to 10. And we got a dialing system as well, so that was a real godsend for us really, because it took out all that manpower basically, and we would only ever get in touch with someone who'd actually picked up the phone and there was a live person at the end of it basically. And then the first project that we undertook was on behalf of Alcohol Research UK. Anybody that was in Jane's meeting earlier, she talked a little bit about this. It was just a survey that was conducted right across England to see health and well-being and the alcohol consumption right across England, yeah.
Okay, so the purpose of the telephone research team was obviously to conduct telephone interviews. We have to make sure that all the data that we input from the interviews are accurately collected, because this is then passed on to research. So any data that's wrongly put can't be used. So we risk the chance of losing out on that survey. We've got to make sure it's accurately. We do have targets that are set that we do have to meet, and we do meet those targets. We do a lot of little competitions, weekly competitions in the team and things, just to keep the momentum and the rhythm going, to make sure that we hit the targets. And we have a good rapport with the public. We are probably one of the only, basically the general public, we phone across England, and we are probably the only people that they ever speak to from Liverpool John Moores University, so we need to make sure that when we're obviously speaking to them, we have a good rapport, we're polite, and they have a good banter with us basically.
Okay, so a typical day in the life of a telephone researcher. First off, we follow an introductory script. Now this script basically outlines who we are, why we're calling, how long the call is going to take. It covers some ethical issues such as like confidentiality, and depending on what type of research people would like us to take up, we can tailor the script to meet their needs basically. We engaged the participants' response, so basically this would be that the participant is willing to go ahead with the survey. In that case we just could do it there and then. Sometimes you get people who will say, I can't do it now, so we'll offer them a call back, and then we just put that into the dialer system, and that will generate a call for whatever is best for them basically. And also sometimes you will get people who are a bit wary of doing it, because obviously it's just, to them it's just another cold call. They think we're trying to sell them something. So we will try and seek verification for them. So if they had the internet, we would point them in the direction of the Centre for Public Health website. Or if they didn't have the internet, we could give them our line manager's number, and she could go through it with them, and then we'd arrange a call back for a more convenient time. We also have to deal with inbound calls. We need to establish what an inbound call is. So basically this is whether someone's had a missed call from us or an answer machine message. We would never divulge in who we are, in what the telephone call was about. We would just say who we are basically, because there could be a number of surveys running at any one time, and we run the risk of getting mixed up data basically.
Okay, so the main skills of a telephone researcher. Number one is obviously got to have excellent communication skills. The joke is I do love to talk, so that comes like cap in hand with me. Also listening skills as well. There's nothing worse than someone is asking you questions and not listening to your response, and then that person asks you again, and then you're like, you've just asked me this question, you know, so you've got to keep the momentum going, you've got to keep talking and listening, because well, more or less goes cap in hand. We have a friendly, engaging and positive telephone manner. You've got to be polite. You've got to take everything on board. You do get some responses that can be quite negative and they don't want to take it, you know, and you've just got to end that call, try and get them on board, let them know of the surveys that we do. We know everything about that survey, so we can source for any objections they have. We can ask them, you know, we can say, well, is there a reason you don't want to take part today? We can get them back on track. If they do want to, obviously, you know, you do get some calls that you have to end. You've got to be resilient. You know, you politely end the conversation, and then every call that you take on after that, you just take it as a new call. So you basically just have to forget about it and start the next one fresh.
You've also got to be diligent and accurate. Like Sue said before, if we're not accurate, if we're not listening to the responses, then we run the risk of losing that data. You've also got to be really confident. Again, Sue mentioned you've got to know what you're talking about, so you've got to believe in the survey that you're conducting. Otherwise, if you don't believe in it, if you come across like you don't believe, the participant is likely not to want to participate in it at all. You've got to be empathetic and understanding as well. Sometimes the questions that we ask in some of these surveys can be quite personal questions, and it can be quite upsetting for people to answer. We just have to remain sympathetic and you know, show our understanding, basically. And probably one of the most important ones is being enthusiastic. If any of you have had a call where, you know, it's like a sales call or anything and someone's on the phone and they sound really like the monotone, there's no sort of personality coming across, the likelihood is you turn off straight away. So we always have to remain upbeat, positive. We all have our own little quips as well, like Sue will make it personal to herself sort of thing, instead of asking like little things like, okay, would you like to do the survey today? She'll go, oh, would you like to do that for me? It's just little things like that that make the difference.
Okay, so the highlights of our role, we are classed as a call centre, although we're in a really relaxed atmosphere. We do have targets like a call centre, but that's about it. We do like little competitions to keep things going, the momentum going. As I say, that ties into a fun environment. You know, we listen, we help each other out. If people are having a bad day, you know, you get them back on track.
Get a bit of friendly banter as
we
well,
have friendly
don't we?
banter, yeah, we have little competitions, and we do, sometimes we have our team meetings out and about in town as a little treat and things.
We also have like personal exchange. Now that can be quite rewarding. We mean this with ourselves and the participant. Sometimes, especially if a participant is a bit hesitant at first and you've turned the call round, once we finish the survey, it highlights to them certain things that they would never have thought about, and they open up to us, and they do thank us for calling a lot of the time, and so obviously in turn we thank them. And as Sue said, we do get rewards for meeting targets. This could be anything from like certificates if you reach a certain milestone, or as Sue said, Jane will organise like a team meeting out, or if we're really, really good, she might buy us a cake.
Or make the cake.
Yeah.
Okay, so our current results so far, our first survey that we undertook was for Alcohol Research UK, and that ended in April. Our target initially was for 6,000 surveys to be completed. We actually smashed that target. We completed 6,760 surveys. We're also currently running this survey, and it's for Radar. Radar is a detox unit that's based at Prestwich Hospital in Manchester, and we were basically doing follow-up calls of patients. It's like a patient evaluation, just how they rated the service, if they had any follow-up from that from the service they received. Our target was set at 50 surveys to try and complete, and again, we smashed that target. At the moment we're running at 60. This is an ongoing survey, and we're hoping to take that back up soon, carry on.
Right, okay, so the current projects that we've undertaken, the first one being health and wellbeing for the over 65s. Now this is targeted for specific councils across Cheshire and Merseyside, and it's just as it says in the title, it's targeting the health and wellbeing for the predominantly over 65s. And as Sue said before, the radar patient evaluation. And we also do ongoing department support. So in recent months we've been supporting other departments, whether it be transcribing, data coding, proofreading, data entry, evidence reviewing, anything like that. If we can help in any way, then we're more than happy to, basically.
Okay, so to summarise, I was going to do a massive Tony the Tiger and go away but we're just a great team. We do get targets, we smash our targets, we work hard, we make sure we deliver whatever's put in front of us, we will do that for you.
Okay, we've got access to useful resources. As I mentioned before, the dialer system, it's been an invaluable piece of kit really. It's taken all that the manual dialing out of it, and it's to give us more time to get more surveys basically, because we're not having to dial each number and then it being a bad number, or it's an answering machine or something like that.
We are very adaptable, not only with helping across the unit, you know, if we can help in any way, but also this means even on calls, if you answer, you know, someone answers the phone who's deaf, short of hearing, or hard of hearing, shall we say, or even a little bit confused, we know how to adapt the script, we know how to slow the process down, speak clearly to them, use little examples to help them with questions. If they're not sure what the question is, as you're taking on board surveys and you're speaking to the public, they sometimes give you a little bit of, oh, does that mean blah blah, or I think the school holidays, I'm a teacher, so that's 6 weeks. So people were saying, when you say to them, oh, you know, summer, they think, well, when do you class summer? And we say, well, some people say the school holidays. So you can just help by tweaking it a little bit, and that's adaptable.
Thanks for listening. Have you got any questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
How's your unit funded? Is it, have you got like baseline work and then other work you take on the top of it, or is it funded project by project?
It's funded project by project, isn't it? Yeah, it is. As I say, the Alcohol Research UK, that was funded by them. They're a charity, so we've finished that one. We are in the process of starting the health and wellbeing for the over 65s. At the moment, that's there for the councils, and it's like a freebie that we're doing at the moment, you know, to see how they rate our service basically, and then we can go from there with them. Gordon, your radar.
Fully funded research.
Exactly, yeah.
So the best way to do data collection, and the most cost efficient way to do data collection, was to engage with the telephone team.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of like research grants that we get in, where we're identifying through work, but also because this is quite new, we're still trying to get the word out there to our partners and local authorities that we can do this kind of work, we can do it cost efficiently, and we can, you know, they've emphasised the flexibility. There's a whole range of different opportunities for people within LGMU and our partner organisations out there to engage with the team and get high quality telephone surveys, if that's something we need.
Yeah, it's like if anyone, I know a few who won't have been our managers, James, this morning, but she was saying, you know, to do it, to outsource it is very expensive, so to do it in-house, yeah, is it 35% of an average that you're saving? So obviously, and because we're interested in that type of research, we're interested in research, and maybe when you outsource it, it's normally to contact centres where they could be doing that survey one day but then doing something completely different, so they're not really bothered about what it is, and you know, they've been asked questions and they're like, well, I don't know, it's just a piece, it's just what I've been given to do, whereas we've got the background on that.
We train up on every survey.
Everything,
we train, we know all about it, we know
what it's for, what it's aiming
you know,
to do.
any questions that's thrown, and if we're not sure, we find out, you know, so that's why it's best using in-house.
Is there any other questions?
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you.